This news update is brought to you by...
From rom-coms to dramatic tearjerkers and hit action movies, video on demand from Flow's got what you need, baby. Spend some we time tonight. Oh yeah. Simply press the VOD button on your Flow remote. This is how we do TV. This is how we flow.
It's Thursday, January the 28th, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top story, Minister of Tourism and International Transport Richard Seeley says he's prepared to step in to prevent a shutdown of the Granny Adams International Airport by the country's largest public sector trade union. In a brief comment to Barbados Today last evening, Seeley said he would look into a row between the National Union of Public Workers and GAIA over outstanding payments because of the critical nature of the situation. Fed up with the delay in settling an outstanding 3.5% wage rise dating back to 2010, the NUPW yesterday gave the airport's management 24 hours to come up with a favorable response to its demands, failing which its approximately 400 members will take industrial action tomorrow. The union met with the workers for about 90 minutes yesterday, and shortly thereafter, General Secretary Rosalind Smith confirmed that GAIA had been given an ultimatum.
We will start whatever action is necessary to let the management, the board, the minister and all those persons who are involved in this exercise know that we are serious on this matter. We are not going into details because, as I said, it's a matter that had been outstanding for almost 5 years, so we need to sit and see exactly where the board stands on this issue.
Prime Minister Frandil Stewart has revealed that government recently took a massive hit of over $100 million in revenue in order to keep a number of international business companies from closing their operations here. Responding to a concern raised about the long delay in paying back value-added tax, that's VAT, refunds, and corporation taxes, Stewart added before a gathering of business leaders yesterday that government's finances had been severely challenged, while highlighting changes made in Canada regarding tax information exchange for trade and double taxation agreements, or DATAs.
Once those changes came into force and tax information exchange agreements and DDAs began to be treated in the same way, we lost or were in danger of losing both our comparative advantage and our competitive advantage in the area of international business and financial services. We got some research done because the sector felt threatened by the possible withdrawal of a number of businesses to lower cost domiciles. And we had to take some decisions, we had to make some amendments to the legislation, which almost at one fell swoop resulted in a compromise of about just over $100 million in revenue.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Stewart says it's not the government's fault that 4 major economic downturns over the past 50 years could be pinned on either the present or past administrations. He points instead to what he termed titanic events, which he said had affected the island's major trading partners. A leading advocate for men's rights and an anti-violence activist have given strong support to government's latest attempt to combat violence in the home. The former chairman and founder of the Men's Educational Support Association, MESA, Ralph Boyce, and chairperson of the SAFE Foundation, Lisel Daisley, have both told Barbados Today that the amended domestic violence legislation introduced in Parliament Tuesday was a welcome addition to the arsenal in the fight against domestic violence. Both organizations made inputs into Domestic Violence Protections Order Amendment Bill 2016, introduced by Minister of Social Care Steve Blackett. It outlines how law enforcement officers should respond to reports of gender-based violence and the circumstances under which they must act. The legislation gives new sweeping powers to the police, including the authority to enter premises without a warrant if there is reasonable ground to suspect a protection order had been breached, and to seize ammunition, firearms, or other weapons in the possession or control of perpetrators.
What we have to be careful about, and you notice reporting there, is that, it comes across as though the men, although they don't say it out loud, as though the men, the perpetrators, that you hear about withholding weapons and guns, and that's usually the men. So I heard a debate yesterday, and I think it was Ms. Innes who said the men have to be very cautious, and they have to make sure that their positions, because our perpetrators are not men.
That was Ralph Boyce. Now, like Boyce, the Safe Foundation head, Lisel Daisy, sees the introduction of the amended act as a positive step, as a 21st century measure. Daisley, whose organization campaigns against domestic abuse, is particularly pleased with the provision which addresses stalking.
Because we find a lot of times that when a relationship is ended, the perpetrator stalks the victim quite a bit, and it's usually to the point where it's very uncomfortable for the victim. So the new legislation that will cover the victim because they're being stalked is definitely welcome.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Turning now to news from the region, speculation mounts in Jamaica that Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller could call general elections as early as this weekend. The ruling People's National Party is gearing up to hold a mass rally in Halfway Tree Square on Sunday, but officials have been downplaying the reports, saying the rally was merely the first in a series of national meetings. Last year, the Prime Minister said she would announce the date when she was touched by her master. And yesterday, in an off-mic comment in Parliament, Simpson Miller said she was touched by the master. The St. Lucia government says this week's fire that flattened nearly half dozen businesses in the commercial hub of Rodney Bay will adversely impact the country's economy. Minister of Commerce Emma Hippolyte was among those reacting to the devastating blaze that swept through the Rodney Bay Strip on Tuesday, destroying 5 businesses. Hippolyte says the economic fallout from the fire is far-reaching.
It impacts insurance premiums. It impacts the revenue generation of those business owners. It impacts work for the jobs of the persons who are working there, because now they would be unemployed until we could restore the building and until these businesses can start operating again. So all in all, it is a loss to the economy, it's a loss to the country.
On the international scene, American scientists studying the Zika virus have warned that it could be a decade before a vaccine is publicly available. The virus is linked to shrunken brains in unborn children, leading to severe brain damage or death. More in this BBC report.
It is the latest virus to send shivers around the world. There is no vaccine for Zika, no treatment. And in the past few months, it has been spreading fast to more than 20 countries in the Caribbean and Latin America.
Last year, when it reached Brazil, it really exploded in the Americas and has spread very quickly, infecting probably a couple of million people at this point.
And should people be frightened, especially pregnant women?
Absolutely. You know, if I had a daughter of childbearing age who was planning a spring break vacation to the Caribbean, the next few months, I would strongly urge her not to go there at this point.
These young mothers in Brazil did not have that choice. The Zika virus apparently attacks the brains of unborn children, leading to severe disability or death.
And on that note, we end our Barbados Today morning news update. However, you can join us again this afternoon. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.